Welcome back to another edition of the Gabagools podcast solo edition. We're going to hit running backs on this fantasy slash NFL pre-draft show. Obviously, running out of time, so got to get through these pretty quickly to get them out, content wise. Obviously, we're just going to go off the rip. We're going to go with the first overall running back off the board. It's going to be Ashton Genty out of Boise State. Obviously, if you've watched football or even watched anything, he should have won the Heisman. I know Travis Hunter won, but statistically, Ashton Genty had an incredible season. He rushed for over 2,601 yards. He was amazing. He had 29 rushing touchdowns. He's the clear cut running back of the future, and he will be a game changer for any team that takes him. I know there's a lot of speculation while I'm filming right now. Who's going to take him? Who's going to, be the next man or next team up? Like we've heard, like four teams. We've heard the Bears are going to try to trade up. We've heard if he's available for the Raiders, he could go there. Apparently, the Jags have interest in him, and who knows? There could be a secret team out there. But I think the Bears would be the ideal landing spot, not just because I'm from Chicago, but just for the fantasy perspective, that would be such a sick, in theory, sick landing spot. He'd have a decent line in front of him. Caleb Williams, it seems like he hates Green Bay already, which just makes Bears fans even more happy to get him. I think that would be really fun for the Bears to go out there and get him. A little bit about Ashton Genty, obviously, because that's what we're here. His best comparison, in my opinion, I see a lot of Ken Walker and Alvin Kamara combined. Hopefully, he has better health than both of them. Both of them. I mean, Kamara did pretty well the last couple of years, but he's an elite. He's got elite contact balance, sheds tackles, very much like Maurice Jones-Drew as well. Elite vision, great burst of speed. One of those players that just he's about 5'8", and he's he's just a workhouse back. He's a 4'4", 240. Just everything you want in a running back, and immediately for dynasty too. He slots in the top three outside of Gibbs and Bijan. Obviously, he's a little undersized, but that's not going to stop him. He's a generational talent, so any team will be happy to have him, and same with your fantasy teams. Bearing he doesn't go anywhere weird. I can see the Patriots taking him too. I don't think they will that high, but would be a decent spot for him. Next running back on my list is Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina. Very solid player. He's 6', 221. Workhouse back too. I think there's a significant tier difference between Genty and Hampton, but Hampton's not far behind him. He really does give a lot to the table as well. I think he could go in the first round, maybe to a Dallas or a Denver team. Kind of reminds me of Jonathan Taylor a little bit. He's an early declare, which is good. So, he knows what he's doing. He's a violent finisher. So once again, runs through contact, has, pretty good 2 to 3 range after the impact. Great feet, runs with, good pads, reliable hands so you can catch it. But, he just had some weird tape as well. I mean, he didn't face off against a lot of great talent. Could be a little bit too upright from the line of scrimmage, and that could hurt him, could hurt his NFL, draft stock. I think he's definitely a great talent for sure. And he's definitely, if he goes in the first round, he's going to be a top 2 pick for fantasy. But he'll be an immediate impact player, whatever team he lands on. Broncos would be a fun one. I think I said them already. Steelers need a running back. So, I mean, I could see him sliding in and being like a nice 1A, 1B with Warren as well. He's got decent size. He's got good burst. I think he's everything you want out of a team or out of a running back. He gives it to you, immediate run impact, and short yardage too. So he's an easy day one starter. If the running backs, a lot of teams are doing, committee backs. You get the Montgomerys and Gibbs. Obviously, Gibbs is a much better player than Montgomery, but it's one of those things where I could see Hampton kind of falling in that same line, but I could also end up seeing him being a workhorse back, very much like Jonathan Taylor. Next on my list, I have Trayvon Henderson. He's my number 3. I think there's a chance he falls into the back of the first round. I really do. I think that would be sick. He's 5'10", 202, out of the national champion Ohio State Buckeyes. He just shows a lot of speed. Reminds me of Jalen Wright, but better, more of a Ken Walker as well. I hate using the same comps, but he gives that same vibe. I think he would fit perfectly with the Kansas City Chiefs. I know they got to draft offensive linemen, but would not shock me if they added an impact player just because of his elite acceleration. They could really use that type of player that's not a Darwin Thompson or that type of player. I don't know why I thought of Darwin Thompson, but a little name drop there. But they just need somebody that can catch the ball. Pacheco can't stay healthy. Very good at running the tempo. You know, can turn small plays into home runs. I really think that's like what a lot of these teams in the back end of the draft need. And who knows? I mean, the Bills, I don't think they take him, but because they have Ray Davis now. But like James Cook, what's his contract situation? Not looking good. I highly doubt that they're going to pay him a lot of money. But he's a good pass protector too. He's not afraid to go off, even with his size. That's good. Good contact balance through traffic, so not afraid to take some hits as well. Vision. His vision is in the second level is outstanding. He's very powerful and explosive. So that's basically everything you want out of him. If he goes in the first round or early day 2, he'd be your probably 1-3, depending on where the wide receivers fall. But the running back class also is, like, I should note, this running back class is very much like 2017 and better than 2020s, but just so many names. There's probably about 14 running backs. I'm not going to go through all of them in great depth, but this is making for a great running back class. Some of the weaknesses, though, for Henderson, he is a little bit. He missed time in 2022 and 2023. He can get too fancy. I think that was just because he was a little young, but I think once he gets up to the NFL, he'll know he can't just juke around. And playing in the Big Ten, he knew that. So, but I think he's going to be a perfect fit on day one. Once again, probably a committee back. I don't see the Steelers taking him. I could see Denver potentially needing that home run hitter, but like I said, Buffalo or Kansas City would be really, really fun for Trayvon Henderson. Next one on my list, who had his breakout year, in my opinion, this year, is Caleb Johnson, 6'1", 224, just a beast of a running back out of Iowa. This is the thing about this class too, is it's just got a lot of bangers in their running back room. He reminds me of Najee Harris a lot, just the same type of mentality, 6'1", 224. So obviously the size is there. Came on the scene this season, like I said. He can control the tempo behind the line. Obviously, Iowa likes to run a lot, so he obviously is used to a huge workload. Once he plants his feet, he's got so much size; it's hard to tackle him. He can still have enough speed as well to get that, big home run play. The problem is that he did run a 4.57, so a little bit slower than I'd like out of him. But given his size, it's still exceptional. Good vision for setting up blocks. Whether it's out on the flat as well. He's controlled. That's another good thing. And he's battle tested. Like I said, he ran in the Big Ten, so he averaged like 5.8 yards in the fourth quarter. So you could obviously go down use him down the stretch and wear out a defense. Problem is like I said, his speed's not really there. He could get caught from behind, which obviously in the NFL, everyone's fast. He could use a little bit of work. Blocking is as good as he is. He still needs a little bit of work. He's just not that agile running back that you normally see, which this is why he's going to drop down a lot on boards. I think he's a back end of the first fantasy running back. He's definitely not going on day 1, maybe a day 2, probably second or late second, early third running back. Probably one of the first ones off the board on those days, though. But he could be a feature back, and I could see him landing on a team depending on who needs one. I mean, my goodness. I mean, Dallas doesn't even have a running back that I can think of. They have Javonte now, but, not as good as what they could be. Anyone would be happy to have him, and I know he's going to get the workhorse back as well. You gotta hope that landing spots come up, and I think a lot of teams are going to be flipped on their head this year when it comes to running backs. I think there was a lot of mediocre ones. I think Oakland would be a perfect fit for him as well, but that would be an early day 2 pick. So, we'll have to stay tuned for that one. One of my favorite backs, I think he's kind of a sleeper, Quinshon Judkins. He was awesome at Ole Miss. And I think when he transferred to Ohio State, I think it was good for his stock to show that he could both play in the SEC and Big Ten. He's 6'2", 221, won a national championship, like I said. And he was amazing, like I said, at Ole Miss. He put up incredible numbers. He kind of reminds me of a Brian Robinson. I hate using that comp as well, just because, I think Brian Robinson Jr. is a good running back, but I also think he looks like he's running through sand a lot of the time, which that's a problem. You can't just have a running back, kind of look slow. And I don't think Judkins is that. I think Judkins has a lot of potential. He has a lot of great bounce off potential when he's attempting to be tackled. He can run at full speed too, and he's not afraid to cut lanes and go through the hole. He's got good arm. He's good at breaking tackles with his arms, so different techniques makes him hard to tackle high. So you got to go low with him. Short yardage, that's where he's perfect running back for one. You could throw him on the Saints too. That'd be a fun spot. Saints, Cowboys, pretty much anyone would be good on the Cowboys at this moment. Even the Bears, if the Bears wanted to wait on running back, they don't go for Judkins would just fit in perfectly. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how him, Swift, and Johnson go. I think Johnson ends up getting cut by that. He's good with the ball too. He doesn't fumble very much. I think he has 3 and 800 touches. It's pretty good. Like I said, he runs through hand. He's got natural hands. Runs low, so hard to tackle. It's not super quick, I don't believe. 4.48. I mean, it's fast for fast sake, but I mean, I think, there are other speed demons out there, but once again, wouldn't really worry. But his production did fall a little bit when he got to Ohio State, whether that was because of Henderson being there or not. But in 2 years at Ole Miss, he did rush for 1,500 yards one year, 16 touchdowns next year, 1,100 yards and 15. So kept it very consistent with touchdowns. He's a dog. Love to have him on my team. I think he goes 1-8 in your rookie drafts, and he'll be like I said, I think a day 2 pick for a team, and he's going to make them real happy. Another running back, Dylan Sampson, 5'8", 200, kind of a small guy. Another Tennessee running back, very much like Jalen Wright, and he kind of gives off Devin Achane potential too, but a little bit bigger. Or not bigger, I shouldn't say. I don't know. I think Achane's pretty big, but he just gives a lot of quality potential to the team. He's got great burst. He's got incredible speed too. He's one of the quicker running backs out of his class. Still a 4.42 though. When you have him coming out of Tennessee, it was just incredible watching him create yards beyond the block, nasty jump cuts, can catch the ball out of the backfield. Even with his small size, he still, rushed for 1,400 yards after, and 900 after contact. That's pretty good. He's good in short, quick areas. I think he could be a fun, once again, day 2 pick. I think that's where a lot of these running backs are going to go, is day 2 or day 3. Obviously day 2 or day 3. Rounds 2 or 3. When you need him to be highly successful, you go to him down the stretch. He was able to convert in these 3rd and shorts. That's pretty good for his size. And surprisingly, he isn't afraid to go lay the lumber as a pass protector as well. I don't think he'll be a feature back though. I think once again, this falls into a very much like a Jalen Wright situation, where if he gets a chance with Achane in Miami, I think it would be the funniest thing if they drafted another running back. Just given the circumstances, Houston would be a fun spot for him. Be a nice change of pace back behind, Mixon for at least a year. And like I said, he's a dynamic runner, great speed, good footwork. He's going to make a team happy. Depending on the landing spot, he might be an early 2nd pick if you really need a running back. And next running back I have on the list, Cam Scapo. If you watched any of the playoff, Arizona State made it. Dude's a tank. 2-3 touchdowns a game, 5'10", 219, just a wrecking ball. I think he will be a nice dual back as well with the team. Kind of reminds me of a Marshawn Lynch a little bit, just because he isn't afraid to lay the lumber, very hard to tackle, kind of can take over a game. He just leans forward and just makes sure you hurt when you run into him. Kind of also looks like a young Maurice Jones-Drew, patient runner, not afraid to be patient before hitting the hole. he's a lot better, receiver than I think he gets credit for. He's got great hands. He's not on the McCaffrey level. I think McCaffrey's just a unicorn in the making, and I think that's the biggest difference. I hope I never see a comp for Scappo because Scappo is a lot bigger when it comes to like more of a meatball type running back compared to CMC, but. Great energy. Seems like he would be one of those fun players, and very much too. If you remember, um, watching the Browns, they need a running back that would just lay the lumber. I think Scappo would be a perfect short yardage back for them. He does fumble a lot though. He had 10 over the last 3 seasons. That's gonna be a problem. His he doesn't have a lot of speed. It was like a 4.65 40. It's pretty slow jump cuts, but I mean, we're not going to sleep on him. I think he'll be a 4th or 5th round pick, and he's going to make a team pretty happy if he makes the squad. And he does have a lot of workload over the last couple of years. Could hurt him in the long run, but I think overall you're going to be okay. Some sleeper running backs just to hit some off the head. Devin Neal out of Kansas. I think he'll be a late pick, but he could fall somewhere pretty nice. Jordan James out of Oregon. RJ Harvey, another one. 5'9". He's a little bit older. I think he could be one of those running backs that has like 1 or 2 good seasons. Very much James Robinson-esque. Could be a running back 2 in a committee, and just overall be a solid, running back. And could be a steal of the draft. You could see him in sleeper drafts, maybe a 3rd or 4th round pick. That wouldn't upset me at all. He was a dynamic runner. He played for Central Florida, averaged 6.8 carries, 22 touchdowns, almost 1,500 yards, 20 receptions as well. That's exactly what you want. And, he once was a quarterback, so he kind of knows what he wants to, or, he kind of runs a good offense, I guess. So could be a steal. Ollie Gordon as well. I think that's a guy that his stock really slipped when he returned to college. Obviously started off the year pretty rough. But I think Oklahoma State was just also very poor. And I think that he ends up being a 5th round pick to some team. I don't even have an inkling of where he would go, but I think he would make a team very happy in the long run. So some more of the running backs, obviously. Woody Marks, Damian Martinez, Donovan Edwards out of Michigan. Should be nice. DJ Gittens, out of Kansas State, tough runner. He's one of my favorites. I think a team would be very happy with him as a backup. Trevor Etienne, definitely based off of the name. He'll probably get drafted or maybe be an undrafted free agent and make a team. But last one I have is Rocket Sanders out of South Carolina. A couple of years ago, he was like one of those dynamic players. Then he transferred over to South Carolina. Seems to just be a pretty solid running back as well. Could be a number 2. I could see him as an Oakland Raider or a Dallas Cowboy. That's going to be my favorite 2 teams just to name off for these later round running backs just because they have so much other stuff they need. Taj Brooks, too. Don't sleep on him. Jaden Blue out of Texas, another guy. Solid pair of running backs there that I could see making a name for themselves. Jaden Blue's so fast. He'll probably be more of a special teams player, though, and when it all ends and everything's said and done. Let me know what you think.